Well, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. It is Sunday, June 18, 2023. Hope all you dads are having an awesome day. We're about to head out to Canada on a 2-week trip, leaving tomorrow morning, going into mostly the province of Quebec. We'll be in Quebec City, staying just outside Quebec City, same for Montreal and Toronto, and we're going to wind our Canadian side of our trip up at the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. We'll make our way back to Maine through upstate New York and Massachusetts. Picked up this Puma travel trailer last summer in Marietta, Georgia, so it had been trailered, I believe, for delivery from Indiana, mileage from Indiana to Marietta, Georgia, and we trailered it back to Maine and did some in-state trips last summer, and then we made one big trip to the Midwest through all of Ohio and into Kentucky and on back to Maine. So I believe you're supposed to change out or at least repack the wheel bearings every 12,000 miles. I don't think we've quite reached that, but we've got some considerable mileage on here, and I'm not just going to repack. I'm going to be changing out the 4 sets of wheel bearings on this today, right at the last minute, right? Going to leave tomorrow morning, so it'll be my first time doing this. Hopefully it'll go okay and we'll make it successfully through our trip. So I'll film bits and pieces of this throughout the way, and hopefully I won't demonstrate any bad habits, hopefully only good stuff. So thanks for watching. This is Gary from West Family RV Adventures, our first video of 2023. I think I'll start with this front left wheel. I've got 3/4 inch stone in this driveway, and I just put these puzzle mats, exercise type mats, between the stone and the tires this past fall when I winterized it. Probably a little spongy to be jacking on, but I'm too lazy to move my travel trailer and pull them out, so I'm going to be using this 8-ton bottle jack, and so hopefully I'll be okay. Just going to get the tires up enough to get them off, rotate them and get them off. Well, I took my foam puzzle pieces away. They were making me a little anxious. Wanted to have good solid footing to jack up the travel trailer. So I'm using this 8-ton bottle jack from Harbor Freight Tools. I know bottle jacks aren't the greatest thing to use, not the safest. I don't have a special adapter that would claw around that. So I'm a little anxious. Got 2 floor stands. I think those are 3 tons each, I'm not sure. So that's where all the weight is on these 2. Now I have a shop jack, but that's only 1.5 tons, so I'd rather use something like this. I just wish I had a ruggeder one. So this is where I'm at. I've already slacked off the lug nuts before I jacked up the travel trailer. So it's time to move a wheel. Probably should have a chuck in there. Guess I'll start with the front wheel. I'll chuck this one. I should have done that. There we go. Hopefully she won't start moving, but that'll help. You know, if I was still 20 years old and educated beyond my intelligence like I used to be, I'd have taken both of those tires off in the interest of time. Just got right on rolling, full throttle. But now that I'm 60, I've done a few stupid things in my life, so I think I'll always leave one tire on. Nice thing about having a dual axle, I'm always going to leave one tire on, work on one at a time. That way, if everything collapses on me, I've got one tire to keep things up. Alright, time to pull that apart. I don't have a putty knife handy. A lot of people use putty knives to peel these off. I'm going to try to use this auto body tool. See what I can do with that. Well, this worked great for pulling off the grease fitting cap, but this is a little too tight. I'm gonna break this plastic thing. I'll go grab a putty knife. Some of you might be like me and you don't put your tools back where they belong when you're done. I can't find my putty knife. But fortunately, Andrea's out doing some shopping, getting some last minute items. So I went into the kitchen drawer and pulled out her favorite butter knife. I'll see if I can get that washed and back in its spot before she gets home. Oh no, she'll never notice. She'll never know what happened. Well, folks, butter knife didn't do it. I ended up finding a wide putty knife downstairs, so I just about got this first cap off. So, moral of the story is stay out of your wife's silverware drawer. Alright, grease fitting cap off. Both covers. Alright, time to pull it apart. So this is a Lippert trailer, and these are 15-inch steel wheels. So I'm going to cut this cotter pin off. Should pull out easier. So I get the pin out, and you can see this hex nut, or castle nut I guess they call it, is just hand tight. I wouldn't even call it hand tight. That was backed off quite a bit. I guess this is the point where I'm supposed to have gloves on. Let me go see if I can find something under Mama's sink before I get too dirty. But things aren't that messy, are they? Not bad. So I'm going to pull the hub off now, and I apologize for not having a tripod. I can't show any live action, but there's, I don't know if you can see it, there's a washer in there, and so when you go to pull yours out, you want to make sure you catch that washer as you pull it off. Now as I'm looking at this spindle, it looks pretty nice and clean, and there's not a whole lot of grease on the spindle, and the question that I'm wondering, and I don't know the answer to it, is whether this grease was actually on the spindle or whether it came from the inside bearing, and as I pulled the hub off, it dropped from the inside bearing onto the spindle. The reason why I say I don't know is that there's a big debate on YouTube. All the RV enthusiasts, you know, weekend warriors like me, people that are a lot smarter than me, a lot of people say that you should only pack the bearings themselves, the inside bearings and the outside bearings, and not to put a bunch of grease on the spindle. And the reason why they say that is, number one, you get heat builds up, but the other thing is that if you grease this spindle before you put the hub and the bearings back, what may happen is that this grease there'll be a big clump of it, and eventually it'll make its way down to the braking system, and it'll raise havoc with the magnet, and the braking system won't work properly. It may lose your brakes potentially. And that's the other thing with these easy fill grease fittings. A lot of people don't even use them because, you know, they're afraid you're going to overfill them and introduce way too much grease into the spindle area, and again it's going to drop down and interfere with the braking system. So, you know, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm probably going to split the baby, and when I put everything back together I'll just put a little tiny bit of grease on the spindle. So that's, I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know really what the right answer is, but if anyone has any thoughts on that, I'm all ears. But I think that's going to be my approach. I'm going to try to pack my brand new bearings as best I can and just put a little tiny bit of grease on the spindle. The other thing is too, if you do use these easy fill grease fittings, from what I understand is the danger is that when your vehicle is stationary and you pump it full, when it comes out, there's a hole in here somewhere if you go around. And what has to happen is that when you fill these, you should be jacked up and you should be rotating your tire as you fill the grease fittings, and that makes sure that everything gets where it needs to be rather than just all clumped in one area and just dropping into your braking system. So there's that. So that's my very limited knowledge that I pulled from the internet. So take it for what it's worth. I do not know exactly what is best. Right here, hopefully you can see that, I just wiped away this gook. That's where I believe the grease comes out. You put your grease gun here. If you use this system, travels in, it comes out here, okay, into the bearings, but you're supposed to rotate your tire as you do that. I'm not going to use that system because the dealer that I bought this for told me not to. Do not use it. Just pack your bearings really well. So as I'm going, I'm just using paper towels and trying to get any of the old grease off the parts. And the parts that are going to go back on, I'll use brake cleaner and try to clean them up as best I can. This is my old inside bearing. It just kind of going over it. It doesn't look too bad, but again, my plan is to, under my current usage, I'm gonna just never repack my old stuff. I'm just gonna replace the bearing, put a whole new kit in every couple of years. So hopefully that'll be fine. So I picked up this seal puller. Some people just use the claw of a hammer to pull out the inner seal cover. Right there. Dented it all to hell, but it doesn't matter because the kit I have has a new one, so didn't worry about that. Now I'm going to replace the inner and the outer races, so I need to tap those out, and I don't have a tapered, I'm drawing a blank on what the tool is, but it's a tapered tap tool. Usually they're brass so they don't cause damage. Not sure what I'm going to use. I'm going to find something. Try to be careful. You know, folks, when I do these videos, there's generally no second, third, fourth takes on this, and there's no editing. You would think I'd be smart enough to do three of the wheels and just film the fourth one after I finally figured out what I'm doing, but no way. I'll show you the very first one. First wheel, that's what I'm showing you, and for better or worse. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to go get a tool to tap out these races, and just taking a quick look. I haven't cleaned this up yet. I'm going to clean it up with the drum up with a brake cleaner, but I don't see any chafing or any lines anywhere. I think that's something you're supposed to look for. So everything looks fine. Hopefully I won't cause any problems. Alright folks, so I couldn't find a tapered punch. Couldn't find anything. What the heck am I bringing that? Electrical tester. I found an old piece of copper pipe in the basement. I cut a length of it. Maybe I can use that and grab the edges of the race and try not to do any damage. And this is a low budget operation. I couldn't find my hammer. I'll use the back of a wrench. I don't know if you can see in there, but here's the outside race, which is a small one. I'm gonna try to be careful and not damage any of the hub itself. See if I can tap that out. I'm gonna have to put the camera down and report back to you. I think the race is starting to move, but this copper on the end is giving way and it's flaring out, and that might scar my hub, huh? Maybe I should go find something else. Can you see the gap in there? You can see the race is starting to work its way out. The secret is to tap around in a circle so you don't jam it. So I think I'm almost there. Oh, here's my new tool. The back end of a ratchet. See that? Getting closer. Alright, so I'm right on the outside perimeter. So I'm going to have to put this on a couple boards so that race has room to drop out. Otherwise I'm just going to pound it into this puzzle mat. There we go. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm elevated up off the puzzle mat. I've got those lug bolts resting on this pine board. So I should be able to drop that race right out now. A few more taps. And we're out. Now we'll flip it around and do the other side. Alright folks, both races are out of the first hub assembly. Now it's time to clean it up real nice. Then I guess the next move after we clean this is to start packing the first bearing kit. Headed up to the big Walmart for some SuperTech brake parts cleaner. Time to clean her up, get that hub clean. You folks keeping score at home, do you deduct points for a messy repack job? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Surprise inspection. Uh-oh. Wasn't expecting this one. Alright folks, I gotta get busy. Picked up this Maddox bearing race seal driver set at Harbor Freight Tool. Here's this outside race, new one, small one. I hope I have that going in the right direction. Tap her in. Pretty slick. I think we're uneven. Feel down here, seems like it's all seated nicely. That is a great little tool. Harbor Freight. Now it's time to do the inside race, which is the larger of the two. We got a little hold up in a project, folks. This is the inside race, the larger one. When I go to tap it, it seems like it's bottoming out with the sound. But I've got a gap here all the way around. So I don't want to force this thing, and I checked the parts. It's the same size as the replacement. So I'm going to have to go pull another tire off and take a look to see if that really is as far as the inside race is supposed to go. I didn't want to have to take both tires off at the same time, but I'm going to have to do that. Hold on, folks. This is what happens when amateurs do things. Hey, good news, folks. The amateur didn't screw up. That is as far as the race for the inside goes. I pulled off one of the other tires, and it has the same gap. So apparently it doesn't bottom out on the inside. Alright folks, I've got the inside race in, and I'm going to I've got the inside bearing in place. Now I'm going to try to tap in the seal. So I've got this inside seal in place, and I was using my race tool, and I'm not sure if I went too far in. I can keep going, but I'm thinking, like a lot of people just use a 2x4, so that would mean they would only put the seal in even with this outside. So I think I'm going to stop right there. So hopefully that's not going to be a problem going a little bit further than the outside here. Alright folks, Slow Turtle RV Repair LLC. We are so slow. Getting ready to put the first hub back on, first of 4. So I'm not gonna torture you to watch the other 3, but getting ready to put the first one back on. Trying to decide if I'm going to grease that spindle or just leave it be. So I've got the castle nut on, got the hub on. Now it's my understanding that you're supposed to tighten this castle nut to about 50 foot-pounds to properly seat the bearings. I don't have a torque wrench with a adjustment as low as 50 pounds. As low as I get is 80 pounds. So I'm just going to tighten it with a big crescent wrench by hand, try to guess, then I'll back it off. Alright, use my wrench and I tighten this so that it kind of turns with tension. So now I'm going to back it off. So now I've backed it off. Turns really, really easy. So now I guess I bring it hand tight. So hand tight, and then I'm supposed to back it off a quarter of a turn, that nut. Slide my pin down. There we go. Whoop. Should be sideways, shouldn't it? Come on. Son of a gun. Alright. That one's being stubborn. Come on, stay sideways. Alright, you have to put the camera down. I'm going to fasten that, bend it back. Alright, I have my cotter pin in, bent back. Now it's time to put the cap on. Oop, this is a two-hander. Alright folks, took a little time out, got this all put back together. No real play, side to side, and it seems to be turning okay. I think it's fine. I went ahead, we're running really far behind, I got 3 more wheels to do. Leaving early tomorrow morning, a lot to do. So I went ahead, this travel trailer's been sitting on all winter. So I took 2 of my tires off, the 2 that I have off, I took them up the street and got them all pumped up to the proper tire pressure. So just trying to save a little time. Now I'll put this one on. All right folks, we got 1 tire down out of 4. Brand new Baron job. I'll torque, these are just on hand tight all the way around, and when I finish this one and set her down, I'll put 100 foot-pounds of torque on these lug nuts. I think that's what my sticker says, 100 pounds up there. So there you have it. I'm gonna let you folks go. I appreciate you spending some of your Father's Day with me. I know it's dinner time now, shower time, take it easy time, so happy Father's Day to you, and we'll probably check in with you folks during the next 2 weeks as we travel through Canada. So this is Gary saying goodbye from West Family RV Adventures.